So we had a bunch of reviews in a row, and then last week we broke off and did a take-turn style, and I thought this morning we would do a create our own game style. So that's the plan, and we may as well get going on it. Somebody shout out coordinate for me. Q16. And? D3. And? First ones, of course, are all just stylistic. C5, obviously that's playable, but this is very rare you'll see a strong player choose this style. Strong players like to break up the board to make it interesting, so P3 is puts the pressure on white to stop black from doing stuff. So black prefers to take a forward position. Okay, now we have decisions to make. E5, Q5. Anyone else? E5 is not interesting, not often seen. C7, D8. Okay, so this is enough to choose from. I'm just going to put down E on top here. We can say that E is using the black stones. That is to say, black's developing the top. So this is a reasonable thing to say, but it's there's only one black stone on top. There's two black stones on the bottom. So this move is making use of more stones. Do you see my meaning? This is more aggressively using our stones to our benefit. Okay. So we kind of don't look at E because there's so much stuff going on. There's no reason to start a new, unimpressive issue. So that's why I'm going to get rid of E. But I did want to point that out. So let's discuss the meanings here. Let's start with the CD idea. What's the meaning behind the CD concept? Other than replacing VHS. That was funny. Nope. Black has no interest in pressuring the white stone. The white stone's clearly not going to be weak. This gets out. Because the left side is big. That's why we would play on the left. That might sound silly, but white can develop the left more gracefully than black can do anything else. So the most straightforward idea is to stop white from developing the left. We usually do that with, well, let's start with the most straightforward idea. That's this one. We're playing on the left. We're playing the safest stone, almost the safest stone. So we're playing safely inside white's area. D is more common because it's still safe, but it also puts pressure on white. We don't regularly see the tight ones. It's a very specific idea. Black wants to take control so that such and such is it's a stylistic move. All we really want to do is settle in white's area. Question. Hopefully you didn't answer before. Was C5 C5? No, it's fine. Black says, my taking the corner. I love taking the corner. Lots of nice cash. And white, this is actually questionable for white, because white's building a moil, but it's not really a moil. It's only one side with two invasion spots. Easy to invade anywhere around A and B. So if you have a small moil that has two invasion points, that means you don't have much at all. If Q16 was white, yes, then we'd have a real moil. Yeah, that would be getting more exciting, right? Good. So that's very possible, just to take the cash. But let's look at this idea. Black's claiming to be aggressively developing the bottom. So let's check it out. Black's doing quite a number on the bottom. That's exciting. But there's some drawbacks. We forced white to take points and get alive on the right, around A. We basically contacted a weak stone, forcing it to get stable with points. Also, the B area is pretty easy to invade. It's not like we're really getting anything. And finally, white's left side is nothing to be laughed at. So you really have to have some exacting strategy to make this work. And this by itself is nothing without an E5 idea. So perhaps white can, so this is all strategic. So the most straightforward move is around D. So we'll just play that. And where for black? D16 looks nice in that other position, right? G3, F3. Yeah, this is a good question. Which one? What do the two mean? What's A mean? What's B mean? I don't see white being solid. White has two stones. Feeling better is always nice, but that's not necessarily a practical idea. So no one's naming what they are. A is more solid, true. So the idea is, if we're here to attack white, so let's get that scenario correct. That means we're going to change colors on top. White becomes black, and black becomes white. Okay. Now I want to keep up the pressure on white. So I'm going to play a strong move, making it harder for white to settle. White's having a hard time settling. What's white going to do in response to this? This is not so easy. White can try invading, sure, but now white has two weak groups instead of one. This is difficult for white. A lot of pros will say this is a mistake. Others say, oh really? Prove it. And white's taking a risk, but it's hard to punish. But on our board, white is in the upper left, so we don't want to pressure white. All we want to do is stabilize. So that's the different meanings. One is one's stronger, keeping white weak. One's faster for settling, white's not so weak. Make sense? Oh, hi, Thana. Didn't see you walked in. Hi, Jen. Didn't see you here. Okay. White, of course, is going to counter pinch. What if he jumps to h5 again? That's interesting. Let's look at two things here. Let's put this back here. And black plays away. Notice the black stones on the bottom, in the bottom left corner. Don't they look not just surrounded, but weak and pitiful looking? You know what I mean? And the bottom right looks excellent for white. But if we broaden that out, as in the game, and white comes out, and black plays away, now white's weaker. It's a knight's move. Black can simply stabilize in sente. White's accomplished nothing. White was easier to settle, so he has more freedom to go away and accomplish other things. That's not us. We're here. So black counter pinches. And how do we jump? The black stone's going to jump because it's an important black stone. This black stone is going to be keeping white uncomfortable, which is worth a lot just by itself, plus the points there. If white captures the black stone, it's a lot of points. So how do we run out? F8. Anyone else? E9. Pretty important how to do it. E9, maybe to put pressure on that group. C7 and G8. Okay. This is an excellent array of choices. Right away, we notice that D is the lightest. So if black's his only job is to quickly run away, let's play at D. Get out fast and light, pretty easy. If our intent is a double attack, then perhaps C. C's running into the fire, as it were. Instead of getting out, it's daring white to surround. Well, for black to do that, white would have to be pretty weak, and white's not. But the biggest thing to notice is this crosscut's pretty severe. So let's look at it this way. If black tries to split, that's all right. Black collapses. This is a standard deal. So this is why we run with the diagonal. Let's do the same thing, make sure we all get it. Now if black tries to split, there's no cut. So white has to come back and try to survive this, and white's actually cut. So that's why we run with the diagonal in this situation where white's high on one side, low on the other, and we're on the fourth line. So these stones, and the next white stone can be either 2 space or 1 space away. Then we always run with the diagonal. We see it a lot in intersections. Okay. Black runs away. Where for white? Or more to the point, are we now going to defend A or defend B? Some say A, some say B. So we need criteria. We could say one's weaker. Well, what makes us think one's weaker? Someone says A's 2 stones, therefore they're more important. Defend them. Some say A has some room, B has less room. These are all possible, but no one's named the primary. Black getting H5. So someone says black's next move against A is big. Again, that's nice. Okay, so Mr. Yang has a term here. The inside group and the outside group. A is the inside group. We can pretty much say A gets surrounded in one move. Let's put it here. White can't get out this way. If white tries getting out this way, very difficult, right? This white group is very hard to get out. So A's inside. The other group can't be surrounded. It's out. So we always help the inside group. Mr. Yang's pretty big on that too. Does that make sense? Okay, and I'm white, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to make this exchange first, I think. I'm not sure, so I'll just do it. And then I'll run out. Okay. Where for black? J4. Anyone else? C12. D11. I think those are the only ideas. A is pretty obvious. Develop the bottom and make sure it's not flat. So let's work on that concept a little bit. A terrible thing would be to make this a long, flat area. Extremely wasteful. We don't want a flat area on the bottom. Like if we play away and black's trying to get out here, it just doesn't want a flat area. But there's another way of dealing with it. We can say the D group is stable by itself, and the E stone can be stable by itself. So if we don't want the territory on the bottom and say we have two separate groups there, then it's not low and flat, because we're not trying to take the area at all. So if we want to play away, we can. We're not about to get a low flat area there. Does that make sense? Okay. So I kind of like A. I like developing the bottom. I like keeping the pressure on white. I like getting that fourth line growth. But on the left, Sente. Oh man. Look at white. On the left, white's getting so much profit in Sente. That's a lot of profit. Bottom's not near that much profit. So let's flatten that right away. Someone else's idea was B, but all we've done is create a new weak group and make our old weak group weaker. Perhaps if the upper left was a black stone instead of white stone, that would be a world of difference. A lot of key players don't get that little difference. If we just change that to a black stone, it becomes a great idea. We're developing Incente. But if it's a white stone, we have two weak groups. Pretty big difference. C, let's go back to this. C12 might end up, oh, yep, M below is correct. And I wouldn't even say might end up with two weak groups. I would say it is two weak groups. Okay, so C is pretty straightforward here. White's going to run out. Black's going to stay that way. And then we have to know if black can cut this. So let me read that out. Dun, 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 dun. I'm a little uncomfortable with that. We don't know what's going to happen in the bottom left. Black might have some Incente there. So I'm going to play this a little bit stronger. Black's not strong there yet, so it goes again. Now white can jump. Okay. Is the whole A concept finished? Or do we need another move? Finished, finished. Another stone would be nice. Well, sure, we can pick any area of the board and say another move would be nice. It's only 3 in a row, but most of you know the rule. 3 in a row is not enough. But that rule does not mean, uh-oh, black's in serious trouble because he only has 3 in a row. No. The rule is specifically when the liberties are tight. Black needs a 4th. Well, white's turn is painful. So I would say now it's time for black to play. So black has 5 liberties now. I would want to get 4 in a row now. Kind of depends on context, but back in the game, let me take a moment to find it. Oh, there we are. Black's 3 in a row at A. The liberties aren't tight, so it's perfectly fine. Let's test that real quick. If it's the famous 3 in a row, the net doesn't work. For instance, if we put that white stone at C13 instead of C14, the net wouldn't work. Because then we'd have the classic 3 in a row is not enough. But since we have okay liberties, there's no cut. So, this black group isn't cut. Is D14 Incente for black? Yes, Incente. Is it Incente for white? Double Incente. That's probably enough right there. It's double Incente. Are we giving white something by making it? So, for instance, at the moment, there's room for the 3-3. But if we push once more, there's not room for the 3-3. But if we check the other way, I think the 3-3 is gone again. Now with it, as soon as white's thick, it becomes difficult again. So, other than some fine-tuned reading, it looks like this double Incente is important. Also, like a lot of you said, we want another move there, and we got it. The 3-3 viable here? No. No co, just death. Okay. Before the exchange, yeah, viable. Okay. Oh, with the D14, yeah, because of the B13, right. Okay, so black's feeling a lot better about his group. So if we used to think I'd like a stone there, we got one for free, and it's much less necessary now. And black can get on with his business. No reason not to. Also, now that our center's stronger, the attack on white's getting more and more meaningful. Okay. My move. I'm not happy about that. Let's, I don't know. I think I want to give myself some local help. Does black want anything other than to connect under? I think black wants to connect under, right? Or else his J4 stones become weak. Okay, so black's just doing this deal here, right? So white was feeling uncomfortable. White handed black the points on the bottom. They were starting to look like blacks anyway. And white got some benefit, which he liked. So, how do I feel now? I got my eye. If I do nothing, this feels like Sente, and that bottom's growing naturally. I don't like that. So I'm going to take care of my weakness. Need to help the R4. First of all, R4 is not a group yet. We can still make a decision to treat it lightly. And black has not gotten strong in that area, so there's really no change there now. Change there yet. Black's going to fix. Now when black turns, it's no longer Sente. And white's move, I will fix the bottom right. Okay. Hopefully that whole series made sense to everybody. Where for black? R9, R10, R7, P5, right or top? True. Moves. I think there's still ideas here. Anyone else? And enclosure. We probably mean 017. Or 14, Oh, 05. Okay, this is probably, let's put that last one in here. That would be probably here. These look like the options. Okay, let's start with the D or G. Which one and why? We're going to choose which of these is better, D or G. And you have to give me a why. Why? Someone pointed out that G is not touching. True, but that doesn't tell us if we should or should not touch. D is better locally because it's contacting a strong. It's stones that the rule isn't about touching strong groups. The rule is about touching strong stones. And Q5 is a strong stone. So we like the idea of touching it. So let's get rid of G. Okay. On the right, in regards to the white stones, A, B, or C. F is not in regard to the white stones. But the idea, oh, so you're suggesting D might not be the right idea. Okay. C's too close. Why? What makes C too close? We'll start with, that's of the three moves on the right we're looking at, A, B, and C. C is definitely one that stands out as different. So, what makes C good or bad? What makes it too close, not too close? B will get pinched. That's another. C too close because white can flatten the bottom more in center, and C will end up. Okay, so someone just said that this black stone is too close to the invisible white stones. And here's the invisible white stones. Let's do it this way. So those stones are there anytime white wants. And he was saying that black stone's too close to them. Makes sense. Now it's a little fancy thinking. I'd rather say that C is for basically a severe attack. White's not weak. Why would want to severely attack a group that's not even weak? So let's get it weak. Let's put this here and here, just for fun. Now I'm going to play anywhere around here I want. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pound on this group. Right. So once it's weak, by all means. But when it's not weak, you're just wasting your time. And not just wasting it, you'll end up getting punished. Okay. If white attacks C, then it makes not be true. P3 is weak. So the two stones, good. So let's get rid of C. A and B. A and B is clearly a subtle point. One is focusing on extending from a black stone. One is focused on stopping white from extending from the white stones. So if black says, I'm not so concerned about my extension, I'm more concerned about stopping white's extension. White's area is bigger than mine, so I'm going to go further. Makes sense. Or if black says, no, I think my extension's great. I really don't care if white plays here, it's so small. Makes sense. So that would be a matter of discernment. So A and B are both reasonable, we'll keep that there. E and F. That's pretty different. Direction of play issue here. So the question is, if white approaches, let's look at it in a very simplistic fashion, can white develop the right? Yeah, I don't see why not. Okay, now let's try the other one. Can white develop the top? No, black's very thick there. Black can use his thickness to deny it. So that's my thought on this, is that the black stones are very close to the top, so it's going to be harder for white to develop that. So I would say F is bigger than E. Let's get rid of E. I is like B, but everybody can develop the right. Only black can develop the top. And H is simply closer to the corner. Notice when white makes the extension, white's very thick in the upper left, all the extra white stones. So I haven't read it out, but I would assume the code's gone now, that it's just dead. Usually, if black wants to find a ko, a move like B16 is sente, to run out or do something like that. But on this board, it's just there's nowhere to run because white's pretty strong over there. So H, white can make a very territorial move around H. The D line prevents white from developing the top. Well, this is a good question. Let's discuss that a little bit. So we're talking about this black wall, this black thickness. On the one hand, it's thick because it's 4 literally uncuttable stones. On the other hand, there's this cut at C, and the entire C group has no eyes. So on the good side, thick and out. On the bad side, well, it is cut and it doesn't have any eyes. When we get in a position like that, I start up with that I don't know. I laugh when I say that because my wife mimics me. And she goes, I don't know, because I always say that. Hon, should we do such and such? I don't know. So when I look at this black group, I'm torn. It's good, and it's not good. When I look at it, there's so much room. Plus there's forcing moves at E and G, and that white group there isn't actually alive yet. So I'm feeling pretty good about black C group. If I'm correct, then I would say that thickness should stop white from developing the whole top very well. So if white tries a large development, should be pretty easy. Because as soon as black runs, he's running towards a strong home. That's my impression. Okay, let me get rid of some unimportant things here. Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Are any of these... But one other thing about D, I think it was Ryan, RJ, said D's focusing too much energy on the bottom. Too much of a commitment, perhaps even over-concentrated. Pretty hard for white to invade the bottom, so we can say black's going to get it anyway. This is a bit above me. So I would say all the ones we're looking at, I would hold as reasonable. But some of it's just over my head. So we get to a vote. Oh, the D line, for instance, that's why I'd like to lean on E15. Lean on EIC. So someone's saying go this way. Yeah, but now again you're forcing white to have territory, and what are you doing? You developing the center? I don't like that. Centers, if you're worried about the center, go ahead and defend the center. Okay, we have a couple B's and an A. So most people are liking the right side, which makes a lot of sense. That would look like white's next move over there. And there's more B's, so we'll put it at B. That's white. I'm going to do this. You guys are going to agree, so I'll keep going. And can I go one more? Absolutely. Okay, my move. I'm going to play here. Okay, where for black? Oh, 17. Someone says you better get up on top soon. J17. H17. K16. E17. I don't get that. I start to feel like the D14 stones aren't countable. G14. Okay. How many of you, well, with a show of hands, how many of you noticed, kind of did an emotional jump when I played F16? We looked at F17 when I played F16. It's leaving a skirt open. F16 is a very specific move. White has no right to grow the top. So why am I playing a fourth line growing move? It's to put pressure on the black stone. Yes, this is an attacking move. I'm clearly stating I'm coming after that black group. And right away, Athena and someone else said, oh, I'm starting to feel that black group's getting awkward. Yeah. Now, Emgolo comes along and says, true, white is attacking that group, but there's no real attack yet. Sounds reasonable. Okay, so if we want to defend the black stones, let's put E one higher up just to make sure white doesn't have a, no blondes there. So E's great for defense. Everything else develops the top. Between C and B, B just shouldn't be there. If we're going to play in that area, it's C because of the open skirt. So we'll get rid of B. A's for the corner, D's for the whole top. I like D. Being on the fourth line, it starts giving support to the center group. E seems a bit to make potential for black and fixes. Emgolo says E's like a resign move. It no longer is a force and might die if we don't defend right away. Right, E's simply passive. E says, you know, that attack, that was a great attack. You know, I'm going to go ahead and give you your profit. Take all the profit you want. I just needed to defend. Wow, that's a big statement. You just handed 15 points to your opponent. You better have been pretty weak to simply hand it over. Not that weak. C, we can imagine black developing two weak stones, two weak groups. But D, that's more in black's area, developing on a large scale and being on the fourth line close to the weak group, it gives support. So this is a mini-purpose move. It's a great move for black. There is another idea, which I don't like, but this is a big move, and if white doesn't defend, look at that white group. It doesn't have eyes, but the issues on top are kind of pressing. The idea of ignoring the pressing issues to start something that's less pressing is just a losing strategy. But I do like this move, it's just we can't do it yet. It's pretty darn big and aggressive. I like it, but D's a great move here. White to play. These three moves come to mind right away. And if the choice is between A and C, which would it be? A or C? And why? And why? C, totally C. C. A maybe? The pinching stone is higher. meaning less attack. Let's look at that briefly. Notice white's extension is sente, but on this side, it bumps into black, gote. So the top is easier for white. Not just that, yeah. Closer to friendly and builds thickness. Works at the attack on the middle black group. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of A. It's my move, but you just help me work through it. So I have to decide B's easier. I'm going to get more profit. But C does potentially give black another weak stone to deal with. Are you saying that R12 isn't sente? Yeah, I did say that poorly. Let's do that again. Okay. There's lots of characteristics we could look at here, tons of them. But let's just look at the ease of white's moves. White, white. White is threatening another move. So based on that, I'm claiming that this white move has an obvious next step. So I call that sente. That might have been a poor choice. But there's a certain ease to this white move. Now let's look at the other one. Less ease. White's weaker. Black doesn't have to stop the underneath. He can go directly for the surround. So white is less easy. That's what I was saying. We could also say things like, yeah, but this black stone is near a white wall and we can attack it. Yeah, that's true, except we're the ones under attack and it's his move. Okay. Would A, that was R14, would A reduce the strength of the R6 attack? So, does this defend white's bottom right group? No. White's simply creating a new weak group. Again, it goes so complex and there's so many things to think about each move, it can get just totally complex. So my go is all based on this move here and now. And for this move, this stone is weaker than this stone. I'm going to play the easier one. Now, I could look at it this way, saying, I want to attack R10. Okay, that would be different. The problem is, it's already stable. Stable so easy. Why am I attacking a stone that can stabilize? So let's do this. Black passes. Now I might do this. Now I'm playing in black's area and doing a very straightforward attack. That would make sense. But attacking a stone that can't be attacked doesn't. Okay. So on white, I come in here. Where for black? Wow. We've been here for 50 minutes. That's unbelievable. Feels like 15. P17. Anybody else? P18. Q17. Now, each of these moves, we're playing the same concept, but each one's quite different. Q14. O16. Okay, so this will be enough. One of these is a known mistake. And which is that? And why is it? One of these breaks a rule. How everyone perks up. What rule does E break? Touch is a weak stone. So E forces white to live in black's area. Please, I'm begging you, live in my area. Thank you. I get my free move, and I'm already on the road to being better. Yeah, but we don't touch weak stones. It helps them too much. Why not approach from the left? I think someone's talking about this. We don't want K16 to get too strong. K. Least D14. Why not approach? Sharon, are you talking about this move for black? Okay, so he's saying if we approach from this side, we're helping the A, and that's the one that needs help because of, yeah, that's the thing that lets white out so easy. White can just live now with B or C, or continue aggression with D. It's white's choice. Oh, Chachi says it perfectly. Pinching a stone that's already pinched. Yes. Let's do a little Tawari here. Black to play. How about K16? What? Why in the world would you play K16? Right? How about O16? That's where we want the stone. K16 would be a mistake, which means that M17 isn't the best place. Pinch till it screams. Okay, so E just contacts a weak stone, so we're going to get rid of E. Let's start with this idea. What's the good part? What's the bad part of this concept? Someone says white's heavy. Black's weak, white is strong. K16 is weak, and that's a bad thing. Right. A lot of what we're looking at here is all about black's left side group. So much so, earlier people were thinking, maybe I should defend immediately. Yeah, we're thinking this group's, not urgent, but we definitely have our eye on this black group. Now we have our eye on two black groups. We're kind of helping white to hurt black. As far as the white group being heavy, this is an extremely common white group. It's not heavy. It's even hard to call it weak. Now, we could use some strategy in saying, well, as we attack white, we're helping all the black stones. Well, that's reasonable to say. Black's gotten profit everywhere and defense. Okay? So we're using the weakness of white for defense. That would make sense. For black's next move here, we have a few ideas. A couple center ideas and a side idea. It all depends on what, the next great area. And on this board, the center is getting important because of the weak stones. I don't like D because it leaves that knight's move, but running straight out definitely puts pressure on white and defends two stones. Let me catch up on my reading here. That's a bad thing. That's near another black group that might be weak. Develop the right set of white. I have a question about the difference between touching a weak stone at O16 after the pinch after M17 do you mean why has this become a good move and a moment ago it was a bad move? Is that the idea? That 016 a moment ago it was bad, and now we're saying it's good? Okay, yeah. Let's do a Tawari on that. And to see this properly, let's get rid of K16. Okay, black plays a bad move. He contacts a weak stone. White says, oh, but I wanted T1 so bad. Black says, great, then I'll play here. All of a sudden, black's bad move of contacting the weak stone, white didn't take that benefit. White passed, and black got another move. Now, he could have chosen here. He could have chosen here. But he can also choose here. It gives white a little bit of room, but pretty hard to get too carried away. So if white's going to pass, instead of touching a weak stone, we call it crushing a weak stone. So it basically turns the touch into an opponent's pass. Right. And if we do another Tawari from here, the surrounding move indeed is 016. And we don't go, oh, we can't do that because it touches. No, it's past that. It means that white ignored the touch. Okay, great question, though. These sorts of things really bother people a lot. One other thing about touching that gets a lot of people confused. Oh, wrong button, just a second. So, touching a weak stone, that proverb, don't touch a weak stone, is based on creating a one-on-one fight. So that black has 100% advantage in this fight. This is a severe turn. White's outclassed 2-1. Quickly we'll look at this. Now white's outclassed less, and now white's outclassed just a little bit. But when it gets to one-on-one, we're up at 100%, which means black has a serious advantage. Big plus for the weak stone. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's play L3 again. Just a second. Here it comes, here it comes. Same move, L3. But it's no longer a one-on-one battle. Black says, you fool. Me fool what? You're the fool. White, it's no longer a free move. So we don't call this contacting a weak stone. So in the same way here, we call this contacting a weak stone, but not this. Because these two black stones are virtually connected, not literally connected, but virtually connected. So we don't consider this a same move for white in that sense. So a little bit on contacting weak stones there. And all I have to do now is find out where we are in the game tree. In just a second, I'm getting there. There we are. Okay. So the question we left here on the question as to where should black play. On the surface, this black-white exchange seems to have hurt the K16. But that's pretty light pain, just a touch. White's still weaker. And as we continue, we're noticing that black gets to defend everything quite gracefully. If it was different, let's say that this was a white wall instead of a black wall. Now I would not want to kick because K16 is indeed getting weak. So instead of kicking, I would do something else. Okay. But in this case, it looks like the aggressive move with A works out wonderfully. And whites move from here, and that we're out of time. Unbelievable. That hour went so quick for me. Yeah. Let me do a quick count here. 2, 4, 6, 18, 12, 26, 22, 24, 28, 30, 34, 68, 40, 48, about 50. About 50-ish. White 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 26, 22, 26, 30, 45. Yeah, pretty close game, yeah. You're welcome. Thanks everybody for coming. As always, I hope we had a good time and hopefully learned something. This puts us at 0 in the fund. Feel free to donate if you want us to continue. And we may or may not see you next week. Okay, everybody. Bye.